Well, good evening, Secretary of State, ministerial colleagues, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure and joy to be back in City Hall again. And I want to thank Colm and Mark for their kind words, and of course, Mark Simpson for setting me yet another challenge. We'll take it on, Mark. And it's a pleasure to be with you at your annual President's Banquet. And when I took up office a little over 4 years ago now in Detty, few would have predicted the global downturn would have been as deep or indeed as long-lasting. We await recovery and the return of global growth, but we still face problems in the Eurozone, a flat US economy, more modest growth in China, as Mark has referred to, and indeed in the new and emerging economies. And it's little comfort that others are faring worse than us. It's no cause for complacency that others are enduring higher levels of unemployment or greater austerity, because every job lost is a personal tragedy for that person and their family, and most importantly, it is a waste of a valuable resource as well. And as I travel the country, I see it firsthand how difficult it is to do business today. And all around, I see the impact of rising prices. I see how difficult it is to export to our traditional markets in the Republic of Ireland and Great Britain. I see how difficult it is for businesses that want to expand to get the finance to allow them to do so. And I see how firms and people have really become fearful and worried about their future. And it's no surprise that many are reluctant to take risks. But frankly, we don't have the luxury of sitting around and blaming our ills on others. Tonight is not a night for focusing on negativity. Our local press are good enough at doing that on a daily basis. I'm not even going to mention the tourism figures. What I want to talk about tonight is help for today and hope for tomorrow. And if we pull through this, and I am confident, as Mark says, that we will, we have to act. But importantly, we have to act together. And I think it follows on very well from what Mark was speaking about, that partnership approach. And I'll touch on a few examples of how I think really that has developed over the year. As an executive, we have, and we did take the important step of making the economy our top priority. We've published our economic strategy in March of this year alongside the Programme for Government, setting out what we're doing to improve our competitiveness. And in simple terms, we're focusing on that very issue Mark referred to, export-led economic growth, as the key means of increasing employment and prosperity for everyone. It sets out many action plans. We want to educate and develop the skills of our people. We want to help and encourage firms to become more innovative and spend more on research and development. And I was very pleased to see the growth this week in those research and development figures. That's heartening given where we are in the economy. We want to attract more new foreign direct investment. We want to provide the kind of infrastructure that a modern knowledge-based economy needs, and I do want to acknowledge BT for all that they have carried through in conjunction with the executive, working together in partnership to have, I think Ofcom said we had the best connectivity in the whole of the United Kingdom. That's good. And to promote, of course, entrepreneurialism and growth of the new and existing businesses, and importantly, social enterprises as well. And all of those measures will help to develop and diversify our export base, and indeed help us to achieve our key goals of rebuilding and rebalancing our economy. And there's no great secret in the strategy. It's based on best practice. It's based on what we know has worked well in other places, and that is its strength, but perhaps it's also its weakness, because there's no doubt as the recovery returns, as it surely will, other countries will be doing the same things. All around the world, countries and regions will be investing in their infrastructure, they will be investing in their people, they will be competing for scarce foreign direct investment, they will be developing new products and looking for new places to sell them, and they will be investing in research and development and innovation. And if we are to compete and win, we need to make Northern Ireland a world-class place to invest. We need to make Northern Ireland a world-class place to do business. We need to make it a world-class place to visit, as I believe it is, and perhaps even most of all, we need to make our wee country a world-class place to live. And I believe over this past year we have shown that we can be world-class. We've already a very strong track record, and I do want to acknowledge the work that has been carried forward by Wrightbus. Recently announced a contract to supply 550 double-deck buses to Singapore, and its buses are already a very common sight in Las Vegas, Hong Kong and London. And when the First and Deputy First Minister came back from Hong Kong, I was heartened to hear that they were doing exactly what I did when I went to Hong Kong, and that was Wrightbus spotting. It's a great game, and one you must employ yourself in when you go to Hong Kong. Over 30% of our aircraft seats for airlines across the globe are made in Kilkeel by BE Aerospace. Over 40% of the world's mobile stone crushing and gravel screening equipment is made in Northern Ireland, mostly in Mid-Ulster. And companies such as Randox and Norbrook are world leaders in their fields. And need I mention Bombardier, who have just received an order for up to 142 global business jets valued at more than 7.8 US dollars, and that's billions if all options are exercised. And I was delighted to hear that they had achieved that because they put so much into innovation and research and development. And just over 100 years ago, the Titanic, of course, set sail from Belfast, the largest ship in the world at that time. It was built in a city that did not have a natural deep water port. It was built in a region that had no iron or coal worth speaking of, and many said it couldn't be done. But it was built, and it was built because of ambition, drive, and entrepreneurialism of those who had vision. And earlier this year, we witnessed the opening of Titanic Belfast. And again, some said it couldn't be done, or it wouldn't be done on time, or it would overrun on cost. And some said it wouldn't be world-class. Some said it wouldn't appeal to visitors. Ladies and gentlemen, through a unique partnership of the public and private sectors, we have built it. We've built it on time, we built it on budget, and they are coming. Titanic Belfast has smashed its visitor target so far this year, with 615,000 people passing through the doors to date. Visitors have come from 111 countries, with almost 2/3 from outside Northern Ireland. And this success has been built on ambition, drive, and entrepreneurialism of those who had vision today. And that's not an isolated example. The opening of the new Giant's Causeway Visitor Centre has also welcomed over 300,000 visitors from 130 countries since its opening in July. And like Titanic Belfast, it has given a major boost to the economy. Colin mentioned the MTV Awards just over a year ago, which showcased Belfast on a world stage and again showed how government and the private sector can come together to deliver world-class events. And of course, the Irish Open. Delivered in less than 6 months after it was agreed it would come back to Northern Ireland for the first time in almost 60 years, it really was a phenomenal success and the very first European Tour event to sell out. So our NI 2012 campaign has been designed to increase tourism, change global perceptions, build civic pride, and indeed provide a platform to reposition Northern Ireland not only as a positive place to visit, but as a great place to live, to work, to study, and invest in. And it's not about 1 year in isolation, but a launch pad for the next decade of tourism. And I think we've seen this year that despite all of our difficulties, despite everything that has happened, that this really is our time and our place. And on the back of this year's success, 2013 is already shaping up to be a hugely exciting year with the World Police and Fire Games, and of course, the very first United Kingdom City of Culture. Belfast has been voted one of the world's top destinations for 2012 by the National Geographic Traveller magazine, and TripAdvisor has said Belfast is the best value UK city break, Lonely Planet describing the city as buzzing. And then just last week, the Prime Minister came to visit, announced that we would have the 2013 G8 Summit coming to Fermanagh. What a wonderful, wonderful. It says here, actually, in my notes, and I think it's quite amusing, somebody has wrote in Fermanagh, brackets, cue much gloating. as if I would. But really and seriously, what a vote of confidence in Northern Ireland. What an opportunity for us to sell ourselves on the global stage. And so despite the difficulties that we've had, I think there's a lot to be proud of this year. Our domestic market, of course, is too small to drive the private sector growth required to make a step change in our economy, and it's vital that we grow our export base, and that's why we've set ourselves some very challenging targets in the programme for government. Too many of our exporters have historically relied upon the Republic of Ireland or Great Britain as their near markets, and whilst those are and will always remain very important markets to us, we do need to extend our reach and take advantage of the many opportunities that exist right across the globe. It is clear that opportunities exist to develop our exports overseas and especially to China. And as Mark has referenced, the First Minister, Deputy First Minister and I had the privilege this year of supporting a number of Invest Northern Ireland trade missions to the United Arab Emirates, to India and recently to China. Almost 30 companies participated in the trade mission to China, with a further 15 Northern Ireland companies either exhibiting or visiting the Food Hotel China exhibition in Shanghai. And we did have some successes over there with Yellow, with Glenarm Organic Salmon, and I really do think it highlights the interest in our quality products, and it's very important that we do take advantage of the opportunities available to us. What other steps are we taking? Well, the Executive, as you know, agreed a £200 million Economy and Jobs initiative to provide support to business, investment and people earlier this month. And the new stimulus package is indeed intended to boost our economy, intended to provide employment opportunities, particularly for our young people and those who have been out of work for a long period. It will also give us, we hope, a much-needed boost to the construction sector, because we do all keenly feel the recent news about the patent group, and it has reminded us just how badly that sector has been hit. Other measures will help those hardest hit by the recession by giving people access to the right training, skills and education programmes. So we are on track to deliver our target of 25,000 new jobs with an investment commitment of over £1 billion by 2015. Access to finance, however, remains a critical issue, and demand for credit has fallen. Data from the British Bankers Association suggests that the number of applications for credit has fallen by over 25% since 2010. Having a local banking sector that meets the needs of both consumers and businesses and provides bank lending on a competitive basis to small and medium-sized businesses is vital for economic recovery. And whilst we don't control the banking sector here in Northern Ireland, we have no control over them, the Finance Minister and I meet representatives of the main banks to encourage them to assist Indigenous businesses in the current economic climate. Indeed, we're meeting the main banks again over the next few weeks. So where banks have failed, we are stepping in to provide affordable finance to companies, and the funds that have already been mentioned are designed to provide, in many cases, unsecured finance to help local companies to expand, to grow and provide more employment opportunities. So in closing then, I do want to say a few words about corporation tax. I think I wouldn't get out of the room if I didn't. I do, as you all know, firmly believe that a reduction in the rate of corporation tax would provide a major stimulus to our economy in the short term. I think it would provide an immediate psychological boost for us, but in the longer term, it would deliver jobs, investment and prosperity right across Northern Ireland. So following intense discussion with the National Government over this last year, a report has been produced outlining the options for devolving corporation tax powers to Northern Ireland, and it now sits on the Prime Minister's desks. And we are pressing for an early meeting to bring this to a head. The debate has already gone on too long, in my opinion, but I do remain confident that we will be successful. And if we are, we will immediately set about adjusting our strategy. We will need to target new types of foreign investment, and at the same time we will need to encourage our existing investors and our Indigenous companies to maximise the new opportunities. And that will include supporting the growth of SMEs and supply chain linkages. We will need to ensure that we can supply the skills, and I know that Minister Farry is here tonight, and he and I have talked about this on many occasions. We're also going to need to further strengthen our innovation and research and development capabilities. And those are the things that we will be doing, but there will be great challenges for you in the business sector. Setting a lower rate of corporation tax will result in a vast transfer of resources from the public to the private sector, and it will be the single largest act of rebalancing our economy. And be under no illusion, this may be difficult and painful for public services, and it will also be a huge expression of faith and trust in you, the business community. And that is why I will be looking to you to give a commitment that you will use this to do what it is designed to do. That is, create jobs, create wealth, and create prosperity for all of the people of Northern Ireland. Our vision for the local economy is clear. We must rebalance and rebuild our economy to provide the prosperity required to tackle poverty and deprivation. And this year we have celebrated the success of many businesses. We've celebrated the success of new tourist attractions. We have delivered world-class events. And in the sporting world, we've been inspired by our Olympians, our rowers, our boxers, and by the achievements of our golfers, including our own magnificent aforesaid Rory McIlroy, who at the age of 23 is the clear #1 golfer in the world, top of the money list on both sides of the Atlantic, and winners of 2 majors. So we should be incredibly proud of what has been achieved. We should celebrate these remarkable achievements and be inspired by them. They show that it is possible for us to be world-class, and I think together we can be world-class. Thank you very much.